move to another part, which is innovation.
Let's innovate.
And walk you quickly through
Creative Doc. Startup Show.
So it's very important to either understand the overall structure and methodology behind it, because that's what this company is built around, actually. That's what, as Martin says, is the backbone of the company, and without the methodology we would be just a bunch of guys, trying to do something, and this methodology is exactly leading us towards the goal, which is the innovation in the end of the day. So that's why we put together this what we call cookbook, which is a set of methodology that we and procedures that we are following. I really don't know what are you going to do in the company, but more or less you'll be always exposed to the innovation process. So talking about the innovation process itself, I've taken the trust the process from psychology, because sometimes when they provide you with the mental coaching, whatever they have to say is trust the process. Just keep going. Don't interrupt it. Don't disrupt it. Just go and trust the process. And it's the very same in our case too, because I can promise you one thing: every time we start with something from the scratch, it's totally fuzzy and unknown from the beginning. We don't know what we are doing. Nobody. Like we may think no, but we are really going to the void, and picking up stuff and trying to work with trying to put the puzzles together so it provides a picture. So get used to that. The very beginning of the innovation process is fuzzy, totally unknown, total chaos, and we are trying to sort of narrow down the line and getting more clear, understanding of everything. So it's normal. It's normal. By other words, if you get lost, it's absolutely normal, and don't worry, that is happening. And obviously, as we go in the process, it gets more and more clear as things start to emerge from the void, and we see more and more clear picture. It's getting we are getting towards the product, and once we know what the product is going to be, everything is pretty much clear, and then we are starting with the business. We are dividing the whole process into two major, let's say, blocks. The first one is more about the creative part. It's where the imagination needs to be, and where we, as I'm saying, trying to dig out as much information and data as possible. And in the very beginning, we are using very much the creative power to put things together to make it working. By other words, if you guys, anybody have experience with building a startup, that's the thing when you come with the idea and you go like, oh my gosh, I have an idea that's going to make $1 billion, and obviously from there, everybody actually thinks that the idea is the most valuable thing. Not really. Everybody pretty much gets some ideas from time to time. But to build something around it and to really keep doing it and really find the way and really persistently follow the path until the first dollar is coming to your account, that's what it is about. That's what it is about eventually. I myself have started something like 5 startups, so I exactly know what I'm talking about. And you really need to have a team of people who will help you to carry it from the idea, which can be brilliant, but is nothing without the execution and without the people who will help you to, build it and gradually carry it on. So, as I'm saying, first is mostly about the creativity, ideation, research, obviously, and then once we move to the MVP, which I'm going to talk about, that's where the daily business starts, and you guys are working on the scaling and basically, rolling it out. So the innovation process itself, although it looks like, okay, we start somewhere and we end up somewhere, not really. Sometimes you have to go 3 times back to redefine things because you hit the wall, so-called, right? Sometimes you just go and you find dead end because the people will tell you, okay, I don't care. I myself have been in a startup that actually took something like 2 million euros from investors, and the founder was never able to really sort of redefine the business model, so they spent the money for technology and they missed the market completely. They missed the market completely. So imagine throwing out 2 million euros from window and people just, go, what the heck, I don't care. I don't care about your solution at all. So it's very important actually to start and empathize, what we call empathize with the people, get their pain points, get their desires, get their needs, really get deep into them. That's what is the most important. Get real insights, living insights that vibrate and bring you the message, whatever is the pain point and whatever needs solution. Then from there you obviously define what the product might be. You move to ideation. You come with 10 great ideas, then you narrow them down to maximum 3. Eventually you usually take the last 2 best and you start working on the prototype, something that you can show to people. And eventually you obviously have to test it and see how it works. So that's the innovation process in a nutshell. And as you can see, practically from every step you can come back all the way to the beginning, or 1 step back or 2 steps back, because that's what it is about, until you really find, okay, this is the pain point, this is the solution people are gonna love, and this is the product we're gonna build around it. So never keep building just because you think it's a great idea. That's a way to hell, and you can spend lots of money, either yours or your clients, and the results can be 0 in the end of the day. So that's what the methodology, that's why the methodology is in place, to avoid such things. And as I said, don't be afraid to fail. We are all afraid to fail because we went through schooling system where we have been punished for being wrong or failing in something. In this case, it's actually great, because only through the failures you can learn something new and go ahead. So in this company, don't be afraid to fail. I mean, fail is not a way to success, but it's a way to learn, and then that's a prerequisite to the success. Design thinking part is basically something where we are mostly focusing with the creativity on basically understanding the market. We are doing observation, we are talking to people. We are really, we keep our mouth shut and we try to get as much, as I said, insights, living insights from them, which is quite a contrary from my experience. My practically 25 years of working experience was in advertising, and that's a very different story, because in advertising everybody knows the best, everybody has the best idea, and he just keeps fighting, and if it fails, what? So it's client's money, who cares, right? In this case it's completely different, because in the beginning we know nothing. And if we think we know something about it, we just forget it and we go and we ask people, because otherwise we will be so much focused on our idea, and we will try to sort of be so persuasive that we will keep working on the idea because we think we are another bloody Steve Jobs or something, and we just keep working on the idea. And as I said, we can terribly miss the market, terribly miss the people and their needs and pain points. So the ideation has to be really built on this, and I will show you some cases around prototyping and testing. Okay, today it's your newcomers day. I remember mine. There was like lots of information. I practically forgot about everything because it was overwhelmingly, coming from different directions. If nothing else, remember this slide. That's what I always say. This slide is exactly that if you think you know something about something, just forget it. Just forget it. And insist on getting some new discoveries until you find something, which you can call discovery. And you go wow about it, you go aha, if there is no aha, there is no discovery, right? So remember to have the aha moment, because only then you can start building something valuable, right? Otherwise you just look out of the window and you think you have the solution. But really, believe me, if you want to do successful stuff in here, it has to be built on discovery. So always forget about everything and insist, send out the analysts and make them, ask the people and really get something new, something surprising, something you didn't know, and only then you can build the stuff around it. Okay, this I will just skip because that's the process in details. And as I said, we are starting with empathizing, observations. Then we are testing the hypothesis, because out of the so many insights, we start to assume, okay, so if A is A, then B is B. And we have to go to the people and basically test it with them if it's true or not. If it's true, we can carry on because we are probably solving some real problem. If they say no, we have to go back. So the hypothesis is kind of a safety check in the process that will tell you if you can carry on and continue with the project, or you have to redefine and come back and maybe research something. And then the ideation, my most favorite part, that's where usually the dots are connecting into something, and at least in my case it's always like vision of something, you know, being connected in a new way. And from there, as I said, again, nobody has a good idea or bad idea, nobody is right or wrong, whatever. The best ideas are always being born from clash of different, you know, approaches and ideations and different point of views on the problem. So it doesn't really matter who came with the idea in the end of the day. Believe me, it's not ego trip, you know, here in the process. It's really, you know, who cares? Who comes with the idea and it works, perfect. There we go from it. So really, don't worry about this. And then we obviously take, as I said, the best ideas to prototyping and testing. Prototyping, obviously, in the beginning you dream of a big thing, full flavor, different colors, different topics, I don't know what, and then obviously have certain amount of time and you have certain amount of money that you can invest in the prototype, in the MVP. In this case it would be glaze, just sugar glaze on the top of the donut. And that's something you can already show to the people because it has the minimum viability. It has the feature that's going to work, right? It has the one key feature that's going to work for the people. And you just show it to them and they tell you, okay, it's great, I love it. But if you maybe add a little bit of chocolate and this, you know, funny colorful topping on the top, it would be much better. So that's what we call iteration, right? Because you keep asking people, you keep talking to them, and they'll tell you maybe tweak it a little bit this way and that way and add this one and this one maybe take away, and eventually you start so-called refining the innovation of the product. And I can show you 3 examples. Even the famous companies today, technological companies, Airbnb, Instagram and Uber looked really crappy in the beginning, right? It was not beautiful design, it was nothing to fall off, you know, on your back from. So everybody started somewhere. So again, don't worry if it doesn't look perfect, if it doesn't work perfect. In MVP we say, you know, fake it till you make it. Practically 90% of everything can be done manually because you are not testing the technology, you are testing the willingness of the people to use it and the usability of your solution. So sometimes clients think, okay, MVP, full integration into our banking system, I don't know what. No, we tell them it's a beautiful front end screen and we are testing the willingness of people, you know, using our service. And if anybody orders something, we will do it manually. That's pretty much normal. We are doing 2, let's say, groups of testing. First one we call user testing, and that's exactly in the beginning when we are trying to find out if people really need the solution, if they need it the way we propose it. You know, what are their pain points, what are their needs, if the solution we are putting together actually works. So that comes a bit earlier in the process, where we are trying to find out if what we are working on is actually the thing that's going to work for them, simply speaking. And once we have something in a place, something tangible, something people can use, we move to so-called usability tests, where we walk them through and we sort of get the information, you know, is it simple enough? Is it clear enough? Does it fit in your hand to operate it? I don't know, whatever question you might have from, you know, related to the actual product that you proposed. And what is funny is that actually 5 users can cover practically 85% of all issues. So in this second part, it doesn't have to be huge 1,000 people, because what you find out is actually that the complaints or the feedbacks start to repeat, because right, they are humans, and if there is a, you know, button that you can touch with your finger, it's probably going to be 95% of the people having the same issue in it. So usually the user testing, we need a bigger audience, because that's more about, you know, getting all the information if the product is going to fit in the society, if it's going to fit in the pain points, if it's going to meet the zeitgeist in the society. And the next one can be much smaller, because we are asking about the product itself, and we are watching how people actually operate it with their fingers, and if everything is there. We have got few methods, and we will be going really in depth into the testing methods. You will see really like in depth, how we do it, what agencies we work for, how we recruit people, I don't know, what are the panels, how to organize it. As I said, Martin once said that the methodology is the backbone of our company, and I myself have witnessed several cases where people actually diverted from the methodology and eventually they hit the wall. So please stick to it, it's quite important. And we also have two, let's say, phases of the projects that we usually work on. The first one is called proposition design, where if we start from the really zero, so we are doing the discovery phase, where we get all the data, research, etc., etc. Then we do the definition, then we do the design itself, then we present it to the client, obviously, benchmarking the competitive review and everything else. So that's what is presented to the client. And if he says, okay, I like these two ideas, we go to the so-called proposition testing part, where we take those two, usually build some, microsites around them, run traffic to the microsites and see how the people react. If somebody is interested, we get the leads and start talking to the people one-on-one to understand, the in-depth solution. And what is quite important are the check marks on the bottom, and especially people from the innovation clan, if they are part of the team, they are responsible to make sure the checkbox are ticked, right? So you can move unless you fulfill empathize part, dig out through emotional, insights, and define main customer pain points. If you don't have these three, you are not allowed to continue in the project. So it's pretty much, I would say, clear for everyone, especially the innovative, project managers, to make sure that all criteria have been met, and you just fulfill the phase, the micro phase, and you can carry on in the process. Obviously, we are here to help you. Karolina and Eliška have created special sub-cookbooks for their part, so really details like how we do it. As I said, there will be soon another presentation around this. And perhaps this one is quite important as well, because when we start a new project, we have to put together so-called Kickoff Team. Radek Levíček is usually organizing it. He organizes the team together, and we basically kick off the project internally, and we always have to understand what is the scope of the work that we are doing, what are the KPIs for the client, and what are the KPIs for Creative Doc, because they can be sometimes different. What is the project in terms of methodology, because some projects we don't start from the very beginning. We sometimes have already predefined, let's say, product, and we start from like middle, right? So sometimes the methodology have to be tweaked according to the project itself. Then we have to have the full team around it, understand who is doing what, who is responsible, what are the responsibilities, and also what is quite important, what is the team and the responsibilities on client side. It's very important, right? To have like the daily contacts, and then the steering committee, which is happening usually once a month. So that has to be absolutely clear. Then a project plan has to be in a place, so we know, okay, we have 8 weeks, what's happening, really. It's like day by day, understanding where we are moving with the project. Then we have to have details about the first week, what's already happening in the first week. And what is the most important thing is the major challenge we have to crack, right? What is the major challenge of the project? For example, we are now running a life insurance proposition for one of the banks, big banks on the market. And the major challenge isn't the proposition itself, but the fact that the bank doesn't hold the insurance license. So we have to see if we find a partnering insurance company for this project, or if the bank has to gain the license itself. That's the major challenge. So we can create whatever beautiful proposition, but this isn't the major thing. and it's time for your questions.
What does it mean, KPI?
KPIs basically means the client will set, with the client we set the scope, which says, okay, so we do A, B, C, D, F, G, and KPIs, what we have to achieve. With this scope, we have to achieve, I don't know, gain 1,000 clients, 5,000 downloads of something, I don't know, traffic reach of something, like KPIs, like the goals, perfectly defined goals. And obviously for clients, it's usually something else because he wants to achieve something with the project. And for Creative Doc, it's something else because we want to make money on this, right? That would be the main KPI. So we don't run a project that's going to be, liked by the client, but brings zero to Creative Doc. So usually the combination of the KPIs have to be put in place clearly for us and for the client. I don't know what is the meaning of KPIs. Anybody knows? Key performance indicators, I think, something like this. Yeah. And sometimes, actually, if you are from a client-oriented, environment, like advertising, like me, for example, we always try to find a way how to please the client with the right answer. That's not the case here. Sometimes telling the client what you think is totally wrong and you shouldn't go that way, and there is a dead end, is ultimately good to tell them, because they are hiring us to tell them if there is a way to explore and innovate in certain area or certain channel or certain way, and if we tell them yes there is, and it looks like this, or there isn't completely, the answers are equal. They'll save lots of money and lots of time to invest, into something that's not gonna work. So don't be afraid to say, and I think that's why we are hired. Sometimes we can be, I'm not saying unfriendly, but not, we can be really straight, and we can be really, telling them how it is, which is quite a contrary to advertising environment. I'll tell you what, big inventions, big innovations like iPhone, which practically changed the status quo of the market and everything, created completely new market. They come with what I call, it's a collective sort of co-creation. Like I myself have been dreaming about something like this 5 years prior to its invention. And I believe it's always what I call in the zeitgeist, in the spirit of the time, in the society, whether it's local or global, that people have a pain points and people dream about something, right? And somebody then comes, the window opens, somebody comes, takes it out and materializes the thing. But I believe I consider myself co-creator of iPhone because I've been dreaming about it for many years. Right? Okay, I have nothing to do with it eventually, but I believe if there is something in the society and there is a big pain point, many people are kind of dreaming unconsciously about something, and it's waiting for someone to pick it up and materialize it into certain products. So yes, the answer is yes. We are currently working, or I myself am currently working on a plan how to approach the academic field in many different ways. We call it verticals, business verticals. So yes, it's in the pipeline.
Still innovate?
Absolutely. It's evolving. Absolutely. It's always evolving. We are obviously constantly, monitoring the trends, looking what's going on. So the methodology itself consists of several, combination of several, let's say, methodologies, and obviously it's based on the hundreds of propositions we've been working on. Suddenly we see, okay, we used to do 2 big blocks some time ago, now it's getting into like more flexible something, or we start from the beginning and we end in middle of the other block. So yes, it's constantly evolving because the market is evolving, the needs of the clients are evolving. So yes, it's absolutely flexible, and it's a subject of change at any time. Sure. So I'm just showing you the most up-to-date version.
How did you adjust
COVID is a great accelerator, and I would say great opportunity for this company. You know, although it's sad to say society-wise, because there are many people who are suffering either from, you know, COVID symptoms or the economic symptoms of this COVID thing, it clearly showed that things that were impossible, like digitization of schooling system, happened overnight. Like I saw it on my kids, like it was impossible, and then overnight it just happened, you know, and they started doing it. So I think COVID pretty much accelerated the evolvement of digitization. I think for the past 20 years, many companies were talking about digitization. Nobody really knew how to do it, what to do about it, and they were laid back because the business was there. And eventually they saw, okay, it's like music industry 20 years ago, right? When MP3 arrived, the big bosses just said, so what? You know, it's a low quality, we still have the contracts with the artists, what can happen? And then they just lost 90% of their income in 3 years. And they just wondered, what the hell is going on, right? So that was the digitization sort of where they didn't comply with what was happening. And I think COVID pretty much accelerates this disruption, digitization process, and we see it coming in one industry after another. So it's a great opportunity, and that's why this company is planning a huge expansion this year and growth, because it's here.
Creative Doc. Start innovating with us today. We build companies and products from idea to scale.
That's right.